Gentlelady yields back. Mr. Trustee, did Joe Biden keep classified documents?
Yes, he did.
Did he knowingly disclose classified information?
It appears that he did to a biographer for about an $8 million advance fee.
And what was his motive for doing so?
About an $8 million advance
An
fee.
$8 million motive to knowingly keep and knowingly disclose classified information.
Correct.
But he's getting nothing because he's a forgetful elderly gentleman and he's not going to be charged. And yet they're going after President Trump. Let me ask you this. I want to go back to where Mr. Gates was. Who's Stanley Woodward?
Stanley Woodward is a defense attorney in Washington, D.C. with a stellar reputation for honesty, very intelligent guy, and someone I met during the process of representing President Trump.
But in the context Mr. Gates was just at, he's the one who had the judgeship dangled in front of him, right?
Exactly. He had a Superior Court judgeship pending at the time, so that wasn't out of thin air. And he reported it promptly and eventually swore an affidavit to a federal judge.
And here's what the Department of Justice said to him, quote, "Your guy Walt needs to flip. I'd hate to see you jeopardize your chances for the judgeship." Doesn't get much plainer than that, does it?
Does not.
Is that lawfare at its worst?
Among other words, yes.
Yeah, I mean, I've never seen anything like this. And you've worked with Mr. Woodward, and he's not necessarily on the Republican side of the aisle, is he?
My best guess is he is not.
He's not. But he's a good, honest lawyer, the way the Justice Department is supposed to operate.
He is, and I think typical for him being the person he is of integrity, he doesn't like being in this position. He's probably not thrilled that I'm even talking about it, but the truth is the truth.
The truth is the truth. How about this, Mr. Costello? I swear to God, Bob, I don't have anything on Donald Trump. Who said that?
Michael Cohen about 10 to 20 times.
So not just once, multiple times he told you that while you were his attorney, while you were in consultation with your client, he said that multiple times.
He not only said that multiple times, but he said that after I said to him, knowing that he was suicidal, Michael, think about this. Isn't it easier to cooperate against Donald Trump than it is to kill yourself? And he still said, I swear to God, Bob, I don't have anything.
When you laid it all out, you said, dude, you better cooperate. If you got something truthful on the president, you better let me have it or you're in trouble. And he came back with the exact same statement. I swear to God, Bob, I don't have anything on Trump.
That is correct. And that was my obligation to do that, to fully inform him of what his escape route was, as he called it.
And then he changed his story, right? Then he went on TV and changed his story.
Exactly. He changed his story. He turned around, and he's the only one who can do that. You have to believe Michael Cohen in order to convict Donald Trump if there's actually a crime there, which there isn't. But that's an issue for an appellate court.
I want to read another statement, another line from your statement. You said, Alvin Bragg refused my offer. What was the offer?
My offer was to come to his office and sit down, let him look me in the eye, and see if I'm telling the truth. When I had all these documents that showed that Michael Cohen simply was not a reliable witness, that his predecessors in the Southern District of New York decided after they spoke to me with the FBI that Michael Cohen wasn't reliable and they never used him again for anything.
Why wouldn't Alvin Bragg talk to you? Why do you think?
You'd have to ask him that. But I talked to 8 of his assistant DAs.
What was that reception like?
I gave them a Zoom conference interview for an hour and a half before I testified in the grand jury on Monday. And then on Monday, when I testified in the grand jury, they did everything in their power not to ask me the questions that would elicit the exculpatory information.
And is this the same information you took to the Southern District of New York?
It is.
Same information. They were happy to get it.
Exactly.
What did they decide?
They decided they did not use Michael Cohen for anything again, and they didn't proceed against Donald Trump for anything.
They saw what anyone with common sense would see. We can't make this guy as our star witness in a prosecution. We can't do that. And they didn't do it. And they didn't bring any charges, right?
That's correct.
And even Alvin Bragg understood that. Alvin Bragg said, quote, he could not see a world in which he would indict Trump and call Mr. Cohen as a prosecution witness, but then he changed his mind. And he didn't change his mind until after President Trump was an announced candidate for president, which I think underscores this fundamental point. This is all about politics. And that's your experience dealing with Mr. Bragg and his team. Is that right, Mr. Costello?
Absolutely. I mean, there's no coincidences here. The fact that Judge Merchan has had all of these cases, and by the way, when he finishes with the Donald Trump case, Steve Bannon is next. Out of all the judges in New York County, somehow they keep on coming up with the same judge. Coincidence?
I don't think so.
I don't believe in them.
I think it's all coordinated. Let me just, in my last 8 seconds, Mr. Trustee, let me just ask you this. When the prosecution alters the sequence and the order of the documents they seized in a raid that broke all precedent in what they did, the physical documents don't match up with the scanned documents. Is that a problem?
It is. I mean, we viewed the materials almost like carbon dating. You could see dates of newspaper articles, you'd see photographs, you'd see an item marked classified. The exact context is an important part of the proof for the government as well as the defense, for the defense attorney. So altering that and not being able to retreat back to some sort of recreation is a serious problem.
And you see the irony, don't you? The irony of Jack Smith mishandling documents all the while he's charging President Trump with mishandling documents. I mean, I don't think that's lost on anyone.
Well, and remember, it came out in the context of correcting a prior statement to the court that there was not a problem with mishandling the documents.
Oh, so they even worse or even better, I guess, is even.
Let's go with worse.
It'd be funnier if it wasn't so true. My time has expired.